coming at you like Will Smith's right hand. This is the Trying to Be Grown podcast. And I'm your host, Damani Carter. And over there, and just playing gray today, is my esteemed co-host, Mr. Byron Keaton. Byron, how we doing?
Hey, man, I'm better than ever. Can't complain. I've been better before, actually. I've been better. 100% have been better. I'm all right.
Okay.
How about you?
I'm doing fine. Wherever you rocking with us, we appreciate you rocking with us. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and of course YouTube. We very much appreciate y'all. Byron, you had a birthday weekend that just passed. How'd it go?
Another day, and I'm old, bro. I feel like I'm used to. Tired. Yeah, man, I ain't got it like I used to, man. 25.
Your Barry Bonds year, as you called it, which was
man,
kind of innovative, but then again, weird.
That's the best 25 ever.
Probably. I can't think of a better one.
Thank you. So it's the Barry Bonds year.
Steroids. But what I was going to say is that, we were supposed to do this in person in Dallas with a guest, but one of us, who shall remain nameless, forgot the microphone.
I forgot my mic.
I wasn't even going to put you out there.
There's two people here, and you're not going to say yourself, so.
How do you know I wouldn't say myself? How do you know I wouldn't say myself?
The way I know you.
Okay.
Well, I forgot my mic. I did. I had everything else but the mic.
You did. But we're going to get it back jumping. We as a collective got some guests lined up. We just got to get past the scheduling for, the busy people that need to be informed ahead of time, which I'm not very good at doing. I'll just go ahead and say it. But we got that coming. This is hopefully the second week in a row we have put out an episode. So we're going to try to keep this momentum going. Everything will be time-stamped in the description. Last episode we said we was going to talk about something, didn't get to it. But we're going to cover all our bases this week. First, we got to talk about this Will and Jada and Chris Rock situation that just transpired at the Oscars. We're going to talk about what we didn't get to last week in terms of growing out of friendships and if that's okay, how to do it. And we're going to finish this off talking about the Final Four, our predictions, our picks, all that stuff. So I would just go ahead and open it up to you. Regarding the Will and Jada situation, I keep saying regarding the Will Smith, Chris Rock situation, really. What are your initial thoughts?
I thought it was fake. I looked at it like when you said my initial response. So when I first saw it and like the slap, none of it looked real. Because like if you look at,
but you saw the full video though.
Yeah, let me get to it. So my initial thoughts is
go ahead.
He made the joke. Will immediately laughed. And then 15 seconds goes by. He's walking up to the stage all calm. He's not running. He slaps him like the camera moves weird. And I'm like, this must be some fake thing to get like the people going or something. I don't know. And then you have the after part where he's saying, keep my wife's name out your mouth. And then at that point, I'm confused. I'm like, is this real? Is this fake?
There was an extra.
I didn't know what was going on.
There was an extra adjective in there that you missed before mouth.
What's the adjective, man?
I don't remember.
I
just know if there was
but
an
yeah,
extra one
and so I'm like, this got to be fake. And then I looked at it about 2 or 3 more times. I'm like, I think this is real. Because I started doing some background. I'm not going to watch the Oscars. I do not care about that at all. And so I did some background research.
Who does?
Huh? What?
Who does watch the Oscars?
Not me. I don't care. But then people were saying that, like, during the actual show in America, they bleeped all what Will Smith said out. But the people, like, in Australia, I think Japan, they had it just clear as day. And I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't scripted. And so, yeah, Will was out of hand right there.
Okay, we're gonna get into that. But I guess we saw different clips. And I thought we were like in the same group message that got all the stuff together, but the clip that I got was actually from, I believe it was Japanese. I don't want to misspeak on that, but it was one that was circulating on Twitter that was from the Japanese broadcast of it. So I got the full keep my wife's name out of your mouth. Like, I got all that. So just from the responses of the people around him, I figured it wasn't scripted and it was real. Just because everybody looked uncomfortable. It just looked like something like really serious had happened and that it didn't really add any effect to the show. And if you look at Chris Rock after, he's so shook he can't even get his words out. So, yeah, I thought it was real. I thought it was real from the jump, and I thought it was wild.
Yeah, the first video I saw, it didn't show, it was only like 30 seconds, so it didn't show when it went back to Will and show what he said. Mm-hmm. It just showed like the slap and him walking off and Chris Rock not doing anything. That's what threw me off. Because if 95% of people that get slapped or something like that, they're going to react in some type of way. Most people not just going to get slapped and just laugh, more or less.
How you reacting to that?
Hey, man, we got to tussle. We got to tussle, man. But yeah. You think Chris Rock's his joke was out of line?
Yes.
Even if he didn't.
I think that.
Even if he didn't know.
I think that's kind of. I don't know if that's the right qualifier that you want to use, because if somebody says, I didn't know, but I was out of line, then I think that makes more sense than, just if you don't know, you can say whatever you want. I don't think that. I think the joke by itself, Jada has a condition, the situation, everything else, it's out of line. Comedians make jokes that are out of line all the time. Some of them are funny, some of them become widely accepted. So, it's definitely muddy water when you're talking about comedy, because it's intended a lot of time to poke fun at people. So that is a really tough line to negotiate. And I'm not saying it was egregious or anything, but yeah, I think it's I don't think it's far-fetched to say the joke was over the line. If he didn't know, he didn't know, but he made the joke. You could see it being not only, I guess, quote unquote offensive, because offensive is that depends on how you take it. But I think just from a human standpoint, if you think about like just having to live with a condition that affects your appearance and somebody joking about that appearance, I could definitely see the joke being just hurtful. So
okay,
if the joke hurt,
is it really out of line though? Because wait, listen. How many times have we heard comedians, male and female, joke about men that are bald, which is a form of alopecia? Male, like pattern hair, like baldness or whatever, is alopecia. You can Google it right now. I promise. But we don't have a problem with that. So why is it a problem in this situation? Both are an autoimmune disease. But one, we're saying, no, he can't do that. And this one, we're saying he can do that. Because how many times have you heard of LeBron joking, you laughed about it? That's what I'm saying. So what's what he did out of line? I don't know.
Well, first, I think you definitely have to contextualize what you're saying. One, I wasn't aware that male pattern baldness was a form of alopecia. But obviously, in terms of the effects and just knowing people that I went to high school with had it. So when you're talking about like the effects, how immediate and I'd say severe, even though you probably wouldn't describe them as severe, but you get what I'm saying with that. There's really no good comparison with male pattern baldness, because male pattern baldness,
most men,
because of the way it happens.
Most men who become bald, at the beginning, most men are embarrassed about baldness. How many? Like we have friends of like, if my hair gets like that, I'm embarrassed. So what's the difference between people making jokes about men's alopecia and it's fine, but when they do about Jada's, it's an issue? I don't know.
because if we're looking at men and how they lose their hair, one, it's a pattern that a bunch of men experience. Alopecia is not something that's that I'd say anywhere near a comparable percentage of women
on different
experience.
People, and they're both alopecia.
Why do you keep?
Because you're trying to differentiate.
Just listen
you're trying to distinguish.
Just listen to what I'm saying.
They're both the same disease. They're both the same disease. It's just like someone having liver cancer versus someone having, what's another type of cancer? Throat cancer. They're both
it's
cancer,
not just like that. Because if it,
and that's what both are alopecia. Is all I'm saying. One is fine to make a joke on when it's male. One is not fine to make a joke on when it's a female.
You realize how many things in this life work like that? Like there's a bunch of stuff that if you present it like that without the context, it just doesn't make any sense.
But what is the context here that's different?
In terms of why alopecia is different for a woman than it is for a man? And the types of alopecia that you're talking about? Like I said, the significance and quickness that you get that effect, because if you're talking about a woman losing hair pretty much immediately and losing like eyebrows and all of the other stuff that could possibly come with alopecia, and I don't want to misspeak and say that the effects of alopecia are immediate or always immediate, but I'm just saying like the level of severity that comes with alopecia for women. And just for those that don't, severe, not even just for women.
LeBron's was pretty severe.
Bro, he lost his hair just like regular people lose their hair.
He was 26 and 7.
My apologies. Not regular people.
He was 2 years older than us.
But
he was 2 years older than us, and all of this was gone. His headband was at the top of his head. And Sports Center, every single comedian, every single ESPY, LeBron was the butt of somebody's jokes, and no one had a problem with it. But now, nah, man, you wrong on this. So go ahead. Especially if Chris Rock ain't know, and he did not deserve to get slapped. I'm here to say he did not deserve to get slapped.
That's a surprising take from you because you're a Will Smith guy. But I'm going to go back to presenting this without context. So if you're talking about the differences in just our cultural acceptability of men who can no longer grow hair and women who can no longer grow hair, there's a big difference there. That context matters. It very much matters. And I can't see a reason that you would try to explain it away because you know it matters. So if you're looking to rationalize it, then the way to do that, I don't think is to present it without context because that just doesn't make any sense. Because these are things that we know, but you're trying to compare male pattern baldness to alopecia and say that both of them are
all I'm
just
saying they're
the
both
same
alopecia.
To joke about? No.
They're both alopecia.
Okay.
That's all I said.
Well, are they the same? Are they the same to joke about? Because that's what our conversation is about right now.
In some context, especially like with the LeBron James context.
That's dumb.
When someone is 27 years old, when I think men started to lose hair around 40, 45, and this guy's 27 years old, and the only thing people are talking about is his hair. This man is playing top-tier basketball. And
yeah, that's the only thing that people were talking about? That's the only thing that people were talking about LeBron James. Is that what you said?
Hey, Damani, how many times have you heard, get this ball man off this court, blah, blah, blah. He just need to go ahead and cut it. I don't know why his headband keep going back. Damani, 2K was moving his headband back 2 inches a year on the game. 2 inches a year. Damani, it got so bad, he started getting hair plugs. Because people were bullying him.
Yeah, we know this.
No, man.
We know this.
It's wild.
But you gotta. This is kind of a deviation. But when it started getting bad for Jordan, he just cut the roof off and called it a day. And I'm not even comparing them as players. I'm just comparing them as people. Like when it got bad, Jordan was like, "Nope, gone." He became a bald-headed assassin. Bron has been hanging on to that little bit of hair for all it's worth. And
you want to joke about it right now?
More power to him. No, I don't, because it will not help my argument. But What I'm saying is there's a very different context for making that joke about Jada and people making those jokes about LeBron James. People have been joking about KD needing a brush since he was 2-3 years in the league. That's the first time I saw it. So jokes, we know that certain jokes about appearance, they just kind of happen. And we're okay with those. I'm not even necessarily saying that we should be okay with Bron getting joked about appearance wise. I think somebody made a great point online because when Chadwick Boseman was sick and people didn't know he was sick, they were making a lot of comments about him looking frail, all this other stuff. And then when he died, people felt bad. And they said, we really need to stop making these judgments on people's appearance. But we still do it. And however you want to judge the rightness or wrongness of that, that's kind of a different conversation. But I think the thing to note here, and to bring it back to Jada, is that is a real condition that, like I said, it just affects her differently because of both the context and I do have to look this up. I have to make sure. Just because, I'm going to use this word again, severity of the disease that differentiates her from the typical male experience in male pattern baldness at whatever age.
I just don't know if all I'm saying is I think they're both similar. Same disease. And especially in a situation like LeBron where it happened at a much younger age than it should, I feel those are comparable. That's all I'm saying.
I think saying that they're comparable and saying that they're the same are very different things. And I mean, obviously you can make the comparison because both of them are losing hair and it's unwanted. Just on that level, you have a comparison. But when you look at, like I said, how acceptable it is for a male to be bald at really any age.
No,
I guess if you exclude,
no, you know how it is for a young
people
male
under the age of 15.
When you fear your hairline starting to recede. You've already had those thoughts about if it happened early, what you would do because you know how bad it is.
Yeah, I'm cutting the roof off. That's what I'm
saying, bro.
But that's why it's okay for me to have those thoughts. If you're looking at like a society where most of the people that were, born with an X and a Y chromosome have an understanding of just the possibility of baldness, and it's really, though it is a big deal, I'm not going to say that it's not a big deal, but it is a much smaller deal for a male to, and I'm not even going to put it out there as if women don't voluntarily choose to wear their hair short, but for a woman to not have the ability to grow hair on her head, it's a really big deal. It's a really big deal. It's a much bigger deal, I'd say, just generally for women than it is for men.
I do want to qualify this. Jada still could grow hair. It's just, if I remember what I read was correct, it was just patchy. And so instead of just having it patchy, she just cut it all off so it's all even. So
what happens, from what I've heard, and from people I know that have experienced it, they're very large. They describe them as I don't know if it's nickel or quarter size pieces of hair that are going to you're not going to have anything there. So I think there's a difference between having 2 or 3 patches and having very significant pieces of your hair missing and just no way to cover it up. If it's 1 patch, you can cover that up. If it's 2, 3 patches, you can cover that up. But if it's all over your head, and like I said, you have issues with growing facial hair, that type of stuff, women just talking about eyebrows. But those are issues that I think are more significant, especially for women, than just common male pattern baldness, no matter how devastating that might be.
And this is why I also want to compare it to male pattern baldness, is because this is one joke. One joke she received compared to 2 million versus LeBron. And so I'm if you multiply the amount of times one has to hear that with the severity of it, I think Bruns is right up there with her. Like the whole entire situation as a whole.
Okay. Well, Chris Rock made this joke about her at the Oscars when she was front row. So, where's your multiplier there? Now, we're not talking about
Money. They made this joke on ESPN every single game.
That's an ESPN broadcast in which Bron is playing the game. He has to see that after. He doesn't have to sit as a room of people.
Have said it to Bron.
Did you hear the reaction from the people in the crowd when he made the joke?
Were laughing. Will was laughing.
Will
was laughing.
There were some people that were. But how many times, just as a person, have you been uncomfortable in public and still been either smiling or laughing? You especially, because you do it all the time.
I don't think Will felt uncomfortable until he saw her face.
Okay, well, that's fine. You can say whatever you want to, but obviously there was discomfort, and he expressed it. So as much as you and I can sit here and speculate about what happened, he made a joke that made Jada uncomfortable, and whether in turn or immediately made Will uncomfortable. So, I mean, there's really not much for us to debate there.
Was what Will did, was that right? Was that the right thing to do?
Right's kind of muddy.
That's not the right thing to do. That's not the right thing to do.
I personally don't think. I don't think so. I think there are ways to. If that's the only question I can answer, I would say no. Do I think it's commendable that a man was supporting his wife, especially in a time that somebody was making a joke that I'd say attacked an area where she was vulnerable? Yes, I think that part is commendable. The action itself, that's what I'm saying. It's a really muddy issue for me. And it's one that I really don't care that much about. Like, the main reason that I have been engaging with this is because the Twitter jokes have been elite. They have been elite.
Which one's your favorite? The one about Tupac?
So that's my main.
That's your favorite one? You look like that.
That one, and the one that said Chris Rock better than me, because if that was me, I would have told 72 August House and the jokes immediately. That was. But hey man.
Another thing to contextualize it with is that they said a similar situation happened with Demi Moore when she cut off her hair. I'm not sure if it was for alopecia wise, but when she cut hers off, people were saying that it's like when they said G.I. Jane, that meant like powerful, and it's like more or less how you take the joke. And so in that situation, it could have been meaning that she's a more powerful woman now.
Hey.
I don't know. Somebody sent me that. I don't know.
Come on now. Come on, man. Come on.
I don't know. I'm just saying. That's what somebody said.
Come on, man.
And people applauded her. I don't know.
So if I walk out the house and my shorts are too tight and somebody on the basketball court say, hey, check out Superman, am I supposed to go ahead and say, yeah, he's trying to say I'm strong? Is that what I'm supposed to say? No. But
yeah, Will Smith's reaction was too far, bro. Okay, now if Chris Rock would have knocked him out, then what would happen? Now he done got one joke off on Jada and Will out here taking it.
Is it possible that both of their actions were justified?
I don't think Will's actions were justified. Words should never one sentence joke should never make you have to fight somebody in a situation like that.
Okay. Well, let me.
Or at least that.
Like
joke.
I said, I really don't. I don't have a great answer to this question, but You have your position, and I'll play devil's advocate just for the sake of argument. So Chris Rock is in a position where he can say what he wants to, and
his job is to joke on people. That's what.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's possible that Will Smith is justified for going up there and smacking him for saying some stuff he shouldn't have said. So if you can say it, you can't just say everything without consequence. That's a lot of the
thing is
this. I will stand by.
He should have smacked
him. A lot of
him,
the problem that we have today.
He shouldn't have laughed if he felt he should have smacked him.
Come on, man. Come on. So that's the issue.
Because if you laughed at the joke, you clearly don't think it's that bad of a joke. That it crossed the line. You can't.
I ask again, how many times have you laughed or smiled in public and been uncomfortable? I watched you do it 2 days ago. Actually, I'm 100% sure you
Do
better
you
answer
think
this
when
question
Will
right.
initially heard that joke, he felt uncomfortable? Because I don't think so. Based on his reaction,
That's fine. We can speculate on that. I told you we could sit here and have that conversation. I'm going ahead and skipping over that because I know you and I know me. We could sit here and have that conversation for 2 hours, but it's not going to matter because at the end of the day, Will felt some type of way about it. Jada obviously felt some type of way about it.
Will feel some type of way
and Chris
about it.
Rock
He
got
felt some
smacked.
type of way about it because Jada felt some type of way about it.
Okay, so you know him? Did you talk to him?
I have
afterwards?
eyes. I can see. Every single person saw Will laughing at the joke.
You see through to his soul. You see through to his soul.
No,
because I just told you that I watched you this weekend laugh
what
when
you're
you were
trying to do
uncomfortable.
is you're trying to say maybe deep down in his mind he really wasn't laughing. That was just a fake thing like that. You have no idea. I can go by what someone does. And I have something to back mine up. You're backing yours up by just pure speculation.
I'm not going by what he was when he smacked him afterwards. Is that what I'm doing? I'm not going by what he was though. He smacked him, and I'm saying that he felt some type of way. No,
he smacked him because his wife was over there upset.
You're going off of
Will was wrong.
No,
and you know I'm a Will Smith fan,
and I'm going.
I'm
off
a Will Smith
smack.
fan, and he was wrong.
You're going.
You biased, bro.
Screaming all in the mic.
You biased.
You're going off of him laughing, and I'm going off of an action that he made that brought his right hand across Chris Rock's face. Which one of those do you think holds?
Can you look at the whole entire context of the situation? He was laughing, then he looked at his wife. His wife was upset, and then he got mad and walked up there. It's not just one thing. It's like this happened, then this happened, then this happened. And in all those situations, Will thought it was funny, and then he was like, oh, I'm going to get in trouble since I laughed at a joke once I get home, so let me do something to try to make up for it. And then all of that did was overshadow his first Oscar because he ain't have no self-control.
Do you see how many hoops you have to go through?
How's it hoops if
to
that's
establish
what
that
happened?
causation?
It's chronological order.
You have no way to establish.
Order.
You have no way to establish that causation. You have no way to establish that causation. You don't even have a clip that shows Will looking at Jada. So you don't know if he saw it. You have no clue. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Go back and look at the clip.
I looked at
the clip does not show him looking at Jada.
I told you, I watched this video 50 times trying to break down what happened.
The clip
because I'm a Will Smith fan.
Why? No, because you're a weirdo. That's all that is. You're just a strange person. Why would you watch the
I probably watched
50
it about
times?
50. Yeah, it's probably about 50 times, man.
Nah, bro, you're just strange.
It's funny.
But you're going through all these hoops to establish that it is funny. It is funny. And not to condone violence, but that clip is hilarious. Look, if you say something, you have the right to say a whole bunch of stuff, man. I think that
he needs to go to jail.
Pretty much you objectively can't say. There's stuff that you can't say that people say anyways. And you face the consequences for that. There's stuff that you can say that might have a consequence with it. You might get smacked. And I think Chris Rock said something that is. You say it, you might get smacked. And
I understand that. I just don't think that's a smackable comment.
I don't know. And I'm not even going. Like I said, I think you can say Chris Rock was wrong, Will Smith was wrong, everybody in the situation was wrong. I think you can say that Chris Rock had the right to make the joke, Will had a right to feel some type of way and feel he need to retaliate. So there's a whole bunch of ways to look at it. I don't think this is a really black and white thing.
I disagree.
But the only thing that this is a tweet that I love, and I always reference Twitter because it is an elite app. It's my favorite application ever created. The guy said, a man worth 30 million smacked a man worth 10 million. I'm not reading no think pieces. All I'm doing is laughing. So at the end of the day, I'm going to leave this conversation. I'm not going to really care. They both going to be all right. But you can make kind of connections to larger society and what we're okay with, what we're not okay with. Hey, he protected his woman. Chris Rock made a joke like every comedian is supposed to. I say, if they all right, all wrong, whatever,
Now I got a
It's not that
question.
big a deal, but I don't think anybody
Now I got a
is
question, Money. If the joke was
angelic or
reversed,
demonic in this.
and earlier when they made a joke about Will Smith, he may have felt some type of way. Why didn't we expect Jada to go up there and slap somebody for Will? How you know Will feelings wasn't hurt? Because I don't think Jada would have done it for Will, and that's my whole. I think that's my other thing with this situation. Jada would have never done that for Will.
You keep saying that like you just know her.
We've seen who Jada is.
So we
embarrassing my dog out here in front of the media. She been doing this for 2 years.
Nah, man, you can't be serious. So you.
Nah, man. Now she got Will in trouble again. Will, you gotta do something. You gotta get somebody better, man. She had you embarrassing you out here with August Alsina.
Smith.
What else happened? Talk all the stuff she be saying about Tupac. Talking about that's my true love. You can't be. You got a whole husband at home. How you saying that's your true love?
But he died. All right. So what is she just supposed to act like he didn't exist? I know we joke about it, but come on, what is she supposed to act
Hey,
like?
Damani. So okay, so if that's your true love, what is Will?
I think it's okay to have more money, especially
true,
when I'm passing away.
That really means singular.
No, true does not mean singular.
Bro.
I think you
got
can have
two
true
kids
love
with this
one
man,
person.
and you calling another man your true love. Nah, bro. And the stuff she be posting about Tupac be kind of like he the end all be all, and Will just there. Nah, she be disrespecting my dog, embarrassing him, bro. August Alsina stuff didn't help either.
I think you're reading too much into it. I think you're reading too much into it.
So you think,
man.
okay,
different stuff works for different people. I don't know either of them. I don't know. It's just a weird question. I don't want to speculate.
You know
as to
Jada
what
wouldn't have done
would.
that for him.
You answer it. Would Jada have done it for Will?
Absolutely not. She would have been laughing with him, the whole crowd. She lived in embarrassment.
Well, hold on. One more question. We've talked about this for way too long. If that was your lady, would you go up there and do that?
Smack somebody for a joke? Probably not, bro. I don't think Will was right in the situation. So no.
Soft.
So you would have went up there and smacked him? No. Because it's a joke. It's a joke that really didn't have much animus in it, if any at all. You weren't supposed to smack that man.
If she feels some type, put it this way, if she feels some type of way about it, I would address it. I'm not going to say I would smack him. If
I'm saying the smack
was
was too far, dog. I've been saying this whole time.
Okay, and I don't think it's necessarily that simple. I don't have a set answer, but I think it's not that simple. So, moving on from that, and actually moving on as a topic, growing out of friendships. Obviously, this is something that happens. It's a natural part of life.
Is it natural?
How? Well, you should go ahead and do what you want to do with it.
I guess the first question is it okay to grow out of friendships? That's why I was asking. Like, you say 100%. It's natural. Is it okay?
100% it's okay.
But why though? He's supposed to be
expected. Like, that's what we're supposed to do.
You supposed to. Why is it okay? Because I don't know if it is. Like, if that's really your friend, how can you just let them go to the wayside? Or y'all even really friends? Or y'all
I don't even think
it's because of proximity?
So you have to look at I'd say the spectrum of friendship. Like, I have, I guess, closer friends that are people that, I've, over the course of my life at various times, I've had different sets of close friends, people that I talk to on a daily basis, people that I was hanging around on a daily basis. And as you transition to new areas and stages of your life, you start doing different things, you become interested in different things, and those things can divert you from whatever group that you currently running with. So I don't think it has to be like malicious when you Like, it doesn't have to be like you're severing ties with the person, but as you drift away and you find other groups that better account for your needs or just in generally are more agreeable with what you're trying to do, I think that's, like I said, that's natural.
So you're saying it's just like it's run its course and you just supposed to let it go if y'all don't align as much based on new goals, things like that. Where you're, yeah.
I don't think you have to force a separation, but I think separation kind of happens naturally. Like the example that I heard not too long ago, which was kind of interesting, is at one point in your life, not at what point, at one point in your life, you and your friends, like, y'all went outside to play, like to play football, to shoot hoop, whatever y'all was doing for the last time, and nobody knew it was the last time. You didn't know, your friends didn't know, but at one time, it was the last time that you went and did that. So whatever transitioned you out of that, if it wasn't like something set, you probably should have been sent to military school, but as far as I know, that didn't happen.
I've been sent to military school.
Because you were a heathen.
Military school couldn't handle me.
The bad thing that I guess you would associate with like a malicious severance from friends never happened. So it was natural.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. But I've seen throughout my life where some of my close friends, it seemed like we were all on the same path. And then just at some point, at some time, like, people just hit different paths. And it's wild to see, like, you don't notice it at the time, but, like, you look back on it 10, 15 years later, you're like, dang, like, our lives could have been flipped or we could have still been on this same path. It's just wild to me. I don't get it. I don't get how that works.
How, like, the process works or how it happens to everybody? Okay.
I don't know. It's weird. Because it seemed like some of the people,
How is that?
like, they could have been in my shoes. I could have been in their shoes.
Yeah, but you just got to look at, like, how much people differ, I'd say. Just because you can, two people, however similar they may be, you and your brother, for example, like, y'all are similar in some ways, but you're different in others. And I'm sure at different stages of your development, like different stages of your lives, y'all were slightly different or even, like, vastly different than you are now. So just understanding that people change and that people change in a whole bunch of ways, I think just like the groupings and the associations that we form, though we don't really think of them as temporary, a lot of them are temporary, even though we don't put that tag on it. Just because, like I said, we grow. So to me, it's really natural. And that could be because I studied people.
The other thing is, I think sometimes you have to break apart from some friends just because, I wouldn't even say it's goals. It's just like some activities some people are involved in. Like, you might not want to do those things. And it's just like, if that's the main thing that they want to do is what their life is centered around. Like, for example, if somebody's main thing is, let me think of something.
Shooting people.
Sure, shooting people. They in the streets like that. That couldn't be my everyday friend at this point, Well, not like everyday friend, but like, it can't be the person I'm with 24/7 just because I can't be involved in that.
If they get picked up, you're going to jail. Yeah.
Some people can get away with it, but it don't work like that. And so, I guess especially like some people go into like their professional lives. Like, you can still be cool with those people, but they can be the friend you hit up all the time, but you just can't be with that person like you would have been 5 years ago, 7 years ago. Because, like, I say around in your mid 20s, late 20s, that's like where you get deep into most likely the path you're going to be in. I know some people have career changes, some people make flips throughout, but like that's when you're budding into who you're really going to be, if that makes sense. So yeah, I don't know, man.
I'd agree. But I think, well, I mean, I keep going back to just like how stuff naturally happens. But in cases like that, that's just like, as interests change, sometimes they change wildly. And just like paths diverts drastically instead of slightly. You know, it happens. And, you know, with those quick changes, you can see it a little bit easier. Just like if you slowly drift apart from a person, I think it's a little bit tougher to see. But with those quick changes, you can kind of see, just like thinking about where you were with a person relatively recently and, you know, where things ended up. It happens. And I think it's okay to maintain, I'd say, connection and really friendship with those people just
from afar.
Like, not even from afar. It's just, I don't think you have to force yourself to be as close with a person as you previously were if the friendship has changed in that way. And I've seen a lot of people try to do that. A lot of people that really just don't want to, like, drift away from others. And I think there's really no reason to force that. Whatever you want for yourself, you should also want the other person to, you know, do their best, be the best version of themselves as well. So if you have that mutual want, then you doing what you want to do and them doing what they want to do shouldn't really be that much of an issue.
I got a hypothetical. What if that person that's out there shooting people, like they feel like you were their best friend, they really still want you there, but like you can't be involved in that type of stuff. How would you go about that situation?
I kind of touched on it. I should have explained better, but
I think I heard it, but you didn't. I didn't feel like
I know, that's why So I think you should want both. You should want both for you to be the optimal version of yourself and for somebody that you care about to be the optimal version of themselves. So if that involves them moving away from you, then generally the first thought that I think we should have is that I need to go let that person be the optimal version of themselves. But in cases like that, when, you know, there's a friend that's drifting away, either in interest or in action, whatever, away from see, I don't know if my train of thought. But if you're the one drifting away, right?
Yeah.
If you're the one drifting away and somebody is trying to pull you back in, then I think in that case, you have to, like, say that, you know, I need to be the best version of myself, and connection to you in this capacity isn't really helping. So I think both parties definitely have to be in consideration, but just depending on which one is trying to force it, I think you either have to be you-centric or them-centric, but still wanting for both.
Well, which one are you in
the,
general?
The best versions possible. I don't really have that issue,
saying, like,
to be honest. Like, I've never.
Would you be you-centric or them-centric?
I think I'd be both.
You gotta choose one. Which one are you going to be more of?
No, because that's why I gave you the two situations. No, that's why I gave you the two situations. If I'm the one that is drifting away and another person wants to remain close to me, then it's me. But if they drifting away and I'm just not, that's not my first choice as to what I would personally want, then it's them centric because they got to be the best version of themselves. It's 50-50.
Like, you always want to just straddle the fence, man. You gotta make a decision, bro.
No. I've formed friendships without really thinking a lot into it. And I think if I did think a lot into it, ain't no way you and Colton would have come through the crack. No way.
Hey, tell me why only me and Colton?
Mm-mm.
Tell me so I'm worse. I'm worse than
Most of the
Chase.
time, no,
I'm worse than
Chase.
Chase.
There is no way. If I thought well about my friendships, there is no way that Chase's number would be anywhere in my phone right now. None.
That's wild, man.
If there was just a ratio of interactions from Chase to where my blood pressure is right now, I think there's definitely a correlation somewhere, somehow.
That's wild, bro.
Shout out my guys, though. At the end of the day, y'all my guys. Chase gonna see this and text me. You still my guy. You're just annoying. So that's it.
But yeah, man. So if y'all gotta grow out a friend, do it. Is what Damani been telling y'all.
Exactly. And if somebody trying to leave, let them. I've seen a bunch of, like, just for example, girl get a boyfriend, all her friends talking about, oh, you've changed, you don't want to be around us as much anymore. Of course. Of course. What else is supposed to happen? I'm not saying that she's not supposed to make space for y'all, but I mean, there's another person that is just recently became one of the most important people in her life. Of course she's not going to be around y'all as much. They holding like group discussions. It'll just be
for another day. We gotta
me.
talk about who changes more in a relationship, a man or a woman? Because I seen something about that.
Go ahead and write that down.
They say some of y'all be out here just be whole new people, be uprooting your life for your significant other. Man, I don't know how some of y'all do it, bro. But we get to it.
Yeah, hey, table that one. We got that.
See, here you go being safe, bro. You gotta say it with your chest, man. The stuff you done said about stuff like that.
I said we're gonna table that for another day.
I want you to
You
air
said
it out
that
like you be saying in normal. You know what you
and
be saying.
what out?
You know exactly what you be saying.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now. Like, I'm genuinely have no idea what you're talking about. I'll be honest on this show. You be the one capping. But let's finish this out with this basketball. Did you pick any of the Final Four teams? Which one or ones?
Kansas is the only one that made it.
See, that surprises me. That you picked Kansas. Did you pick them to win?
No, I had them losing to Gonzaga in the finals, in the championship game. I normally would have had North Carolina in the Final Four just because I'm biased towards North Carolina, but I didn't do it this year. And I should have, man. Should have had my teams go all the way.
North Carolina has played out their minds, and I'm excited to see what they can do, especially being that they're the lowest seed in there. And I want to see them win. A lot of people have really significant opinions on Coach K, whether they really want him to lose or really want him to win.
They're going to make sure he
I
wins
really
it all.
don't care.
Duke is 100% going to win it all unless somebody just makes every single shot. They're going to get every single call. They're going to make sure Coach K goes out on top.
You don't think it has anything to do with them being a really good team?
Because at this point, everybody's a good team.
Yeah, but
man.
They got five guys that are supposed to be first round picks, bro. They're the only team. They're the only team left that can say that.
Maybe 4 go first round.
Two of them are probably going to be in the top 10. So yeah, nobody can say that either. So on paper, they got 5 guys averaging double figures. The little what is his name? Dude that wear 3.
I don't know, man.
The shorter guy, but he been playing out his mind. They just started him for the tournament. If I had to pick one, I would pick Duke. I really like Villanova. They've been shooting the heck out the ball. I love the way Gillespie plays. I wish that I watched more of them this year because I probably would have picked them. But I didn't answer my original question. I didn't pick any of the Final Four teams right. Never betting on them. I will bet on the Razorbacks, probably. But other than that, I'm done betting on SEC teams, man. Done.
At my job,
Finished.
I'm top 5 in the brackets. Tied for 5th right now.
Okay. Is there any way that you can win?
It's tough.
Have you looked?
Well, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's gonna be tough. I can get to win it all. No, I can get to like third place maybe.
Oh, shit.
But
Nothing.
yeah, hey man, it was out of 50 people, so I feel good about that. Like 79 percentile in my ESPN one. I already know yours probably like a 34. But hey,
you come in third. I come in 75th. We get the same amount of winning.
But I can say I'm better than you.
Gold star for you.
I beat you.
Not really.
I beat you.
Not really. This was a competition for first.
It was about beating the people around you.
No. No, it's not. It's about being the best in the group. And you weren't the best in your group. I wasn't the best in mine. You're not even the first loser. Assuming that you do make it to third, you're the second loser. So, congratulations.
Who'd you say you had in the Final Four?
Gold star. I had Tennessee, Auburn, Gonzaga.
Yeah, so you already lost.
I don't know how I got to Purdue.
I haven't lost. I still got a team in the play.
You said that the
tournament. So you the first one to lose.
But you said the max you can get to is third.
You the first one to lose, though.
Okay, and you're like I said, you're just on the loser chain. You're really high, and still a loser. So nobody cares.
I care.
Nobody cares.
I get the moral victory.
Okay. Let me see. Let's see if we can find a good comparison. So
we ran a marathon.
The Usain Bolt 100-meter final. The Usain Bolt 100-meter final. Who came in second?
Did they get a medal?
You know who came in first.
Who
came in second? That's what I thought you said. They did get a medal, but this is just underscoring the fact that they actually won something, and you still don't know his name.
Okay, Damani.
You still don't know his name. So just think about you in second, not
Damani.
winning anything, and just how little that matters.
So after Usain Bolt,
you were the first loser.
After Usain Bolt broke the record for his 100-meter dash time, who had the record? Who's behind him in the record book? Do you know?
I can tell you who had the record before. I don't know if he's still behind him.
Who had it before?
Ben Johnson.
I know that. That's just because it was a track thing.
But it was taken away, and Carl Lewis still had it.
But that's just because you asked me about something I wasn't
steroids
deeply entrenched about. If you asked me like who
Nah, man, you knew who won that. You knew who won. If I asked you who came in first in the 100 meters in the Beijing Olympics, you could have told me in 2008. If I asked you that, you could have told me.
Okay, if Usain Bolt wasn't running the race, I wouldn't have known who won. Because I wouldn't have cared. Who won it last year?
Okay.
Wait, not. Yeah, because they had it last year. Who won it last year? I have no idea. Because I didn't keep up with it. Only reason why I knew about them because we had the greatest runner of all time out there. Because they had 100 meter, and I have no idea who won.
Gosh, I can see.
Yeah, because you don't know either. Thank you.
It's not Justin Gatlin.
Thank you, bro.
It's not Justin Gatlin, but no, I mean I do.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm saying I do know who won, but still, I don't know who came. I can't tell you who came in second.
You can't tell who came in first.
Can't tell you who came in second. I could recognize the name of who came in first, and if I wasn't on air, who lost in the Super Bowl? That's different. I'm an avid football watcher, and you know that.
Who lost in the finals last year in basketball?
I'm an avid basketball watcher.
That's
I'm
what
not
I'm
as
saying.
avid, but I'm a pretty avid basketball watcher.
In the sports you care about, you know. That's all I'm saying.
Nah, there's not a lot of really notable losers though. You got the Buffalo Bills because they lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. That was crazy. There's not a lot of really notable second place teams.
I don't know, man.
It's just the truth of it.
I don't know, bro.
So, if we had to see, we always get off topic. So, going through the people the teams that are still out there right now. I assume you have Duke winning because you think they're going to get all the calls. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Duke gonna win because they're gonna get the calls. But I won't. I have no problem with Duke winning because if Duke wins, that means Arkansas lost to the champion, and that looks a little bit better on us. They'll be back-to-back years they lost to the champion.
I thought you were an LSU fan. What do you mean
Where
us?
did I go to school, Damani? I'm not. Also, I'm not. I've never
But I
been an
thought you
LSU
were an
basketball
LSU
fan.
fan.
Never. I've always been a LSU football fan, North Carolina basketball fan. You don't root for. You don't do that, bro.
Didn't you play
Yeah.
football for Arkansas though? How does that work?
You asked me about my past.
So you can root for the.
We were talking about in the past, aren't we? When I was
That's
growing up.
unbelievable, man. That's
Back to what I was
unbelievable,
saying.
man.
I have no problem with Duke winning because I mean Arkansas looks good. I want North Carolina to win because still a North Carolina fan. Got to root for your boys. And then I want Kansas to make it to the finals so my bracket does a little bit better. I don't have anything. I don't have a horse in the fight with Villanova, so I hope they lose regardless.
Why are the horses fighting?
Why not? Supposed to be a dog in the fight, same thing.
I think the phrase is a dog, but horses don't fight.
Horses
I thought you were gonna make some. A horse in a race would make a lot more sense.
I think
but you
that's what
don't
I
have
wanted
like
to say at first, but then I was, yeah. Mine run a mile a minute. Ooh, I was about to start rapping like the song. But you know.
It's a nice cringe to finish off the conversation. I'm not picking Duke because I think they're going to get all the calls. I think top to bottom, they're the best remaining team. Now, they folded at least 2 points in here. I haven't watched a lot of North Carolina. I count them as one of the games in which they folded because they beat NC by 20 at North Carolina. That was earlier in the season, but they beat NC by 20 at North Carolina.
North Carolina turned around late in the year.
Had a close. Yeah, and that's the thing that is interesting because North Carolina is peaking right now, Duke is peaking right now, so I'm very interested to see what happens. That's why I just go to, I guess, a different means of picking and say who is the best team, top to bottom. I think it's Duke. I wouldn't be surprised if any of the 4 teams left won it, because I think that. No, I'm picking Duke. I'm going to pick every game, but I'm just saying that there's.
You gonna say anybody can win, and next week you gonna come here. I told you, blah 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 could win. I'm just trying to make sure you ain't doing that.
No. I think it is going to be Duke, Villanova in the final.
That's an ugly final, bro.
No, I think there's going to be some beautiful basketball.
I can't
great
see
star power.
Because maybe I'm biased, but yeah.
Have you watched any of Gillespie in the tournament? Gillespie been killing it. Gillespie and Samuels have been playing great basketball for them. So I think you get a third guy that comes. If those two come up big and they got a third guy that comes up big, Villanova could very well win this thing. If I had to, all right, I'll even do you one better. In order of likelihood to win, I got Duke, Villanova. That's tough. I like NC. I'm going to go NC.
I think North Carolina going to beat Duke.
So if Kansas wins, I'm big wrong. I wouldn't be surprised.
My order would be.
But those are my picks.
My order is North Carolina, Kansas, Duke. Actually, North Carolina, Duke.
How do you have Duke behind Kansas?
North Carolina, Duke, Kansas, Villanova. I think whoever wins the North Carolina Duke game win it all.
Okay. You heard it here first. And just to reiterate, this is something that we can actually compete in. So next week when we get on here, we'll be able to say that I was the winner and you were the loser because I made a pick and you made a pick, and there's only 2 of us.
You did this last year in the final.
So this is a winner-loser scenario.
NBA final, you saw what happened.
I picked the rest of the playoffs, right, man? That's battle, war. There's a difference.
I won the big game.
No, but you didn't win, like, in terms of number of things
Did you get them all right?
correctly.
Did you get them all right?
That's me.
Okay, so
No, I
I
didn't
bet
get 'em all
someone got all of them right. So you weren't in first place. Remember how we talked about that earlier when we were talking about brackets? That's the same thing.
So if we race 100 meters and I'm not faster than Usain Bolt's world record setting time, does that mean that I didn't win? Is that what you're saying?
That's literally what I was saying.
Is that what you're saying?
So you're saying you beat me? You're just saying you beat me?
No, if we're competing head to head,
but we're not competing. We're competing against everybody, man. We're competing against everybody who make a bracket.
No, you're going to be second, third, or whatever in your group. I'm going to be 659th in my group. That's an exaggeration. But it doesn't matter because you're going to lose, and I'm also going to lose. So, at the end of the day, we both lost. But if we compete head-to-head, then there's a winner.
I'm saying we compete head-to-head with our brackets.
Or we tie.
And I'm the winner.
We didn't compete head-to-head, though. We didn't compete head-to-head. You can't just say that we competed head-to-head. You can't say we competed head-to-head last time. That's not how that works. You were the one that brought it up.
I was just talking about the finals.
Well, this concludes another great conversational episode of the Trying to Be Grown podcast. We should have a guest coming next week. We got one lined up. Hopefully his schedule allows for him to be here. And speaking of guests, we need some more hers on this show. So if you get a chance, drop in the comment who we should bring on the show next. That is not of the male or XY persuasion, because we definitely need some more perspective on here. I'm sick of talking to Byron.
We reached out to Beyonce.
Need to get some new voices in here. I don't think that's going to happen. But if it does, I'm going to tell her that I'm looking for a new co-host. And we're going to see where that goes.
That's wild, bro.
We very much appreciate you. My guy Show Thief is playing us out right now. Byron, you got anything else for people?
You just gonna fill my line, but yeah, that's all, y'all. Appreciate y'all having a good one.
Peace.
When you make it through the struggle and the pain, do you get your umbrella off the chance that it might rain? I stood tall. Ooh, I stood tall. Ooh, I stood tall. Try to count me out, but you ain't gonna ever hold me down. When I see my people going through it, I put the blame on me. And I see my homie lose his mind, but I gave him his first taste of lean. I ain't gonna lie, that really hurt me, but I had to close the curtains. And one thing I learned on Lion King is everybody gotta eat. Never tell a party, let me get a whole piece. And nah, little homie, can't get that from me. You play football, you got a bright future, you supposed to see you on the TV. And I said, that's true, and I'm gonna do it, but I really gotta make something happen. And I probably could've asked my family for something, but instead I started hitting licks with daddy. Ain't gonna lie, that turned me to a savage. Really living life like a bandit. And then Murph told me, keep your head on, man, don't do nothing reckless. But now I'm older now, I'm a grown man. Go to church every Sunday, I'm a praying man. You ain't gonna never see me fall, I'm always standing. One thing I do is stick to the plan. When you make it through the struggle.